Hello BookTube. For this Tag Tuesday, I will be doing a reprise of the B tag. The B tag was created several years ago by Jim of Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff, when he created a series of tags inspired by the English alphabet. I'd originally intended to do a reprise of the alphabet tags once a week since I started with the A tag a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, in the intervening weeks, I moved and my video making had been disrupted for that move week for a little bit. And when I decided to come back to the B tag last week, I kind of had a bit of a hang up with the first question, first prompt. Sometimes with these tags, I do need a little more time to think out my responses. I'm not always great at thinking of book titles off the top of my head, and sometimes those answers, in hindsight, are a bit disappointing. But I'm going to do the B tag today, and I'm going to try to do, rather than once a week, I think I'll try to do like twice a week, as well as other tags if I'm interested. So I can do a bit more videos a day. But anyway, let's get on with the B tag. So prompt number 1 is B is for Bildungsroman. Do you have a favorite Bildungsroman or coming of age story? Yes, Naruto by Masashi Kishimoto. I struggled with this question, and I think I struggled with this question the first time I did this tag. But when I looked up what Bildungsroman is and saw that an example was Naruto, I'm like, yes, definitely Naruto is my favorite Bildungsroman. So Naruto is a long-running manga series by Masashi Kishimoto. It is 72 volumes long with 700 chapters. Naruto is the story of Uzumaki Naruto. When he was born, a giant demon fox, nine-tailed demon fox, attacked his village of Konohagakure. The leader of the village, the Hokage, sacrificed his life to seal the demon fox into newborn Naruto. And this led to Naruto being an outcast, a pariah in the village. To compensate for this, Naruto became a prankster, a trickster, the class clown. He'd do anything to garner attention, whether good or bad. And he ultimately aspires to become Hokage himself in order to force the village to acknowledge him. Eventually, Naruto graduates from the Ninja Academy as a genin, an apprentice ninja, under the tutelage of a more senior ninja, Kakashi, alongside two of his classmates, Uchiha Sasuke, who is his great rival and friend, and Haruno Sakura, who is initially his one-sided crush, and eventually they just become good friends. Over the course of the series, Naruto uses his experiences and his ability to overcome his trauma to help a number of his antagonists confront and overcome their own traumas and make them into friends. And while in a lot of Bildungsroman, the main character sort of, while he starts or they start off outside of society and then gradually acclimate to society, accept society's values as their own, and that sort of acceptance of society as a maturation process. In Naruto, that doesn't quite happen. Naruto doesn't change to conform to the ninja society in which he grew up in, which is fairly brutal. I mean, Naruto grows up in a relatively more peaceful time period than a lot of his elders did, but it's still rather brutal. And Naruto doesn't sort of change to fit into his society. He changes ninja society and the world more to his perspective, to where Naruto, once all of the conflicts of the series are wrapped up, um, changes the world and makes the world a much more peaceful, much more empathetic place. And it is amazing. I recently finished reading the entire series over the course of many months, and it was amazing. Prompt number 2, B is for beach. Be careful how you pronounce it. What would you recommend for a beach read? I would think something not too serious. Um, but I don't really have anything in mind because, I mean, if I'm actually going to the beach, I would actually be out in the ocean or looking around. I don't know necessarily if I would be reading because it's been a very, very long time since I've been to the beach. But nothing's really coming to me specific that I would recommend. So B is for Beagle, which is not a prompt, but it's an excuse to show pictures of your dogs if you have any dogs, which I don't. So moving on to prompt number 3, B is for best. What is the best book you have read this year so far? So far, I think the best book I have read would be Dan by Yukinobu Tatsu. It's a weird modern manga series about two young people, a young man named Ken, who goes by the nickname Okuran, and a young woman named Momo. Okuran believes in aliens, and Momo believes in ghosts, and they don't believe in the other. And so they make a bit of a bet. So Momo will go to a location that is visited by aliens, and Okuran will go to a place haunted location. And they discover that in this world, aliens and ghosts actually do exist. And their encounter with the supernatural and extraterrestrial leads to them gaining superpowers. Momo is, up to this point, a latent psychic, and she develops telekinetic abilities after an encounter with very, very nasty alien species. And Okuran is possessed and later absorbs the powers of a very lecherous ghost called Turbo Granny at the cost of his family jewels. And part of the story of the plot is the attempt to reclaim those family jewels for Okuran. And it's just a wild and zany series from there. I really enjoyed the first 8 volumes of Dan. Prompt number 4. B is for bookshop or bookstore. Do you have a favorite bookstore? Yes. Unfortunately, they are several hundred miles away at the closest. My favorite bookstores are Book People in Austin and Powell's in Portland, Oregon. So when I lived in Austin as a college student, Book People was my home away from home. I would go to Book People at least once a week and pick something up. And it was just a really fun adventure because I would take the bus from my apartment to down Congress to 6th Street and then just walk from 6th and Congress down to 6th and Lamar, where Book People is. And then I'd walk back. And so it was just a really fun excursion that would take a good chunk of my Friday or Saturday, depending on what day I wanted to go. And since 2020, I have started to buy books with Book People again online since I don't live. I live. Actually, it might be nine. I think it's about 100 miles away from where I live to Austin. I know it's about an hour and a half drive, so it's not something I could do on the regular, physically going to Austin. So I just order books online with them. And for Pals, I went to Portland for a weekend when I was in college, and I visited Powell's twice and absolutely loved the store. And in 2020, I was reading in the Oregon Public Broadcasting's website that Powell's was suffering from the pandemic. And so I decided to start buying from them. And about once or twice a month, I have a fairly large order with Powell's. So those are my two favorite bookstores, even though I am not capable of actually physically going to visit them. Although I would love to. Prompt number 5. B is for banned books. Is there any book you think should be banned? No, I do not think books should be banned. 6 is B is for Bible. What is your favorite book of the Bible and what trigger warnings do you think it should have? I have no favorite book of the Bible. And I don't think there should be trigger warnings. Prompt number 7. B is for bookshelf. Show me your bookshelf. So I'm currently in my bedroom, which is at the moment going to also my little manga room. For some odd reason, we ended up getting a 3-bedroom apartment when we moved, and so the extra bedroom has been turned into a library because while there is more space here than we had, the bedrooms are actually smaller, particularly compared to my bedroom. So I cannot have my entire library in my bedroom for the most part. And so I have a few bookcases in here, and I just transformed the other room into as much of a library space as I can. And I guess here could be a good point to do a quick library update. Like I mentioned with my last weekly reads, I did get two bookcase. Well, one of the two bookcases that I had come in, the one that my aunt bought, I had some trouble putting together. So on Friday, my brother came to help put it together, and we did. And they also gave me a bookcase that my sister-in-law no longer wanted. So I now have this room mostly kind of as many bookcases as I can get in my bedroom. I still probably could put one more bookcase in the library, but that might be a bit before I can do that because of some other issues that might be coming up, or may not. I don't know. My brother and sister-in-law can be weird sometimes. And I'm also thinking about maybe reorganizing the library and sort of moving the sections around. And I'll probably make a separate video about that later. But you did ask for a look at my bookshelf, so I'm going to turn the camera around so you can look at some of my manga collection. Which, as I know, I need to do part of my library. So, there we go. And back around to me. Okay, the final prompt. B is for Brazil. Paolo Coelho, The Alchemist, has been translated into 17 languages. Have you read any Paolo Coelho? And if so, what did you think of his books? I have still not read anything by Paolo Coelho. So I think I, for a few years, toyed with maybe picking up The Alchemist, even though reading the synopsis, I'm not really all that enthusiastic. But maybe at some point in the future, I have been toying with a personal challenge in which I would read 80 books from around the world, and perhaps Paulo Coelho, one of his works could represent Brazil. I haven't quite decided. Reading projects, whether booktube generated or personally generated, do not always turn out. So I don't know. And so that concludes the B tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourselves tagged. And I will be back soon with the C tag and also other videos. So until then, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.